Dr. Hirsch, and this is EdCast, a program created and produced by educators for everyone interested in education. This month, EdCast is presenting a special multi-part report on the controversial admissions to New York City specialized high schools. Approximately 30,000 students a year apply to these schools, but only 6,000 are admitted. With entrance determined solely by scores on an exam, known as the Specialized High School Admissions Test, or SHSAT, the student body at these schools is only 10% Latinx and Black. This population is far from representative of the 70% Latinx and Black students who attend New York City public schools. The mayor's new proposal to change admissions criteria for the specialized high schools would do away with the exam and is met with the expected outcries. EdCast will examine the many issues surrounding these schools, from their purpose to admission criteria. We will look at the exam itself and speak with a variety of stakeholders, including parents, teachers, and alumni. Whatever your position, we think you will find these conversations enlightening and provocative. Now on EdCast, who belongs in New York City's specialized high schools? The test for admission to New York specialized high schools, the SHSAT, has been criticized by Mayor de Blasio, Schools Chancellor Carenza, and advocates for school diversity as an invalid measure, unfairly blocking access for Black and Latinx students. Today, EdCast takes a closer look at the SHSAT with the help of an authority on preparing students for this exam and others like it. Joining me is Dennis Yim, Director of Academics and a veteran instructor at Kaplan Prep. Thank you so much for joining us today to helping us take a look at this very controversial test. I want to start by asking you, what is the SHSAT? When did it start, and who created it?
Thanks for having me, Linda. It's great to be
welcome.
here.
Thank you.
So the SHSAT is a test for admissions to specialized high schools in New York City. So the vast majority, except for LaGuardia, use this test as the sole measure of deciding what students get in or not. And it's been around for decades, and it's used to, there is about 25,000 students in 8th grade who applied and take this test. That's about 34% of all 8th graders in New York City, and about a fifth of them gain admission through this test.
Now, who created the test?
So the test was created by a subsidiary of Pearson, and it's under contract by the Department of Education.
And what's the objective of the test, as far as you know?
So the test is for admission. And it's an opportunity for schools to create a measure in which they can put students to the test. There are a lot of deserving students, a lot of hardworking students, a lot of intelligent students in New York City, as you can imagine. And it's a straightforward measure of allowing these students a playing field that they can work hard at and perform and be able to then get to the school that they're hoping to get into.
So then the question is, what does it test? I'm assuming it's looking to see if they do well on this, they'll do well in the high school. Is that one of the objectives, to kind of know if you do well on this test, you'll perform well in the school?
So the test, it has two sections on it. There is the ELA section, and then there's the math section. There's 57 questions on each, and they are, it adheres to Common Core standards in New York City, and it tests material from 6th, 7th through 8th grade, but nothing further.
Nothing further, okay.
Correct.
And is it general knowledge, or what kinds of things are on there?
So there is a lot of content. There's definitely a definite focus on the ability to understand the fundamentals of arithmetic, of algebra, being able to understand passages like you would see in ELA in your classes, and but it's beyond that, right? So I love telling students, I've been teaching over 10 years, there's a big content proportion, kind of focus on it, but there's also, I like to call it the 3 C's. It's content, it's critical thinking. When you're under pressure, for a lot of these students, this is their first time, it's high stakes, it's a 3-hour-long exam.
3 hours.
Students aren't used to this. This is, for a lot of them, this is a big challenge, and the questions are challenging themselves. And so being able to make the right decisions under pressure and being able to say, oh, I understand what's in front of me and how I can turn into an answer is a big part of it. And then add on to that crisis prevention. It's there's just a lot of stress.
I'm going to ask you rhetorically, because it's not for you to answer this, but it crosses my mind that is it fair to students to put them in such a being in such a high pressure environment where you need to answer so many questions in a short amount of time really the best way to measure how you might do in a school. In other words, if it was a little more relaxed, a lot more people might do better. But that, I understand that you're here to speak about the test itself. But I'm just thinking aloud as you tell me this. Seems a little high pressure and maybe not so fair. But okay, so is it like the SAT and the ACT?
So I just want to touch upon what you just said,
Yeah.
because I will say that's one of the exciting parts of working with students.
Exciting, right?
It is. As a teacher, I think, you get these students who come in, they're so excited, their parents are excited for the opportunity. The specialized high schools in New York are, known all throughout the world. And so these students know what's at stake. And to be able to tell them, if you perform on this test, I can help you do that. I can help you see what's coming, help you with pattern recognition, help you with any jitters or nervous feelings you might feel, help you with that stress management so that you can perform to your ability. I think that's a message that students like to hear and that I'm able to convey. We're able to work with them to be able to help them be more prepared.
So jumping ahead a little bit, because you just brought it up
Yeah.
then. So you can help them. So does that mean, as some of the critics have said, the test prep really is so crucial to doing so well on this test?
I think that
Does that skew it?
I think that anytime there's a test of this magnitude, there is an opportunity to get more experience. And so there's a chance for students to really be able to put in the work, to be able to understand what is being asked of them, understand what's going to come on the test, and be able to then put themselves in a position to perform to the best of their ability. That's the main message that students need to hear. They need to know that, yes, the test is challenging. Yes, there can be parts of it that feel very unfamiliar, very scary at times. But if they put in the work and if they put, just a dedication of, hey, I want to know what's on it. I know how important it is, so I want to get better at it. And knowing that they can get better is the best message.
But some of that work seems to entail doing a test prep. In other words, if I just go to school and I'm a really good student, will I do as well on this test as someone who sits with you?
I hear what you're saying.
Fairness.
No,
I
hear what you're saying. Yeah, there are varying degrees of test prep.
Right.
I throw that out there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so a student might be able to pick up those skills by going through high stakes exams in their own classes, right? So having the chance to understand that stress and transform that into a experience or the ability to perform on a test like the SHSAT is great. But there are definitely going to be students who don't feel like they've had that opportunity, who maybe feel like they haven't had the chance to really get the practice to perform under that kind of pressure or with that type of content. And that's what we provide. So either through our books, either through classes or tutoring, we're giving students a chance to really be able to experience what's coming up ahead. And so that's what's,
So
I think that's what's great.
I certainly tell anyone
Yeah.
who talks about test prep or anything that it's probably helpful no matter what anybody says. Now, in terms of what makes a test so difficult, you caught my attention by saying, really, it doesn't go beyond material learned in 6th to 8th grade.
Correct.
So what makes it so hard to do well on this test?
Oh, I mean, the length is definitely a big part of it. I just told you earlier, 3 hours. It's and that's it's changed. So it used to be 2.5 just until a couple of years ago. It just changed to 3. The number of questions have gone up. It went from 100 questions to now 114. And we can talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this, definitely having to sit in this kind of environment with potentially students who are not your peers, who you haven't been in class with. It may be a very, even in the booklet that the Department of Education sends out, it says, please be respectful of others. It's, there are students who are going to have certain habits, or they may want to read the passage out loud. So
chew gum so loud.
Sure, that's definitely part of it, right? Even breathing, right?
Don't breathe, right?
Yeah. So there's an element of just,
We're going to look at some questions in just a minute, because I thought that some of them were difficult. I mean, you
Sure.
say 6th to 8th grade. It looked to me more in the 8th grade neighborhood, but
definitely the content is challenging as well. I don't want to, I'm not trying to shy away from that. It is a test that most students will find challenging because of the environment, but also the questions themselves. So I'd love to take a look.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at them in just a minute. Now, you said it's 3 hours. How is it scored, and is guessing penalized?
So guessing is not penalized. There is, so what students need to know is they need to answer every question, no matter what.
So you tell them that.
Absolutely, right? And so, it's a completely Scantron test, so they need to make sure they're bubbling in the right bubbles. That's a big part of it. I've had students who have had, nightmare situations that we've been able to, prepare them for because they mess up on their practice test and they're able to then be ready. But it is scoring is based off a raw score. So it is every score, every question is worth the same amount. So you don't want to do like the harder ones first. In fact, we always tell students, do the easy ones first, get on a roll, focus on your strengths, then leave the remaining time for the ones you might have a challenge
Otherwise,
with.
you use up all your time struggling with a difficult question.
Absolutely. You don't want to like break
I do
down
that
your
at
will.
work. Get the easy stuff done first, right?
That's right. That's right. So get that done. Get the points you're supposed to get those right every time. And then, so what they do then is they take that raw score and they translate it to a scaled score, right? That algorithm or the scaling system is not super transparent, but what it ends up in is the top score is usually around the 700 level, but really it's a competition, right? It's a how do you perform against the other students taking the test that year? Correct, absolutely. When they scale it, they take into account how other students perform that given year, and then they're able to say, again, like I told you, 25,000 students take this test, 5,000 gain in minutes.
You really have to be in the top to.
Top 20%, right?
So, so that's what makes it hard. So it's not right. Okay. So do you know if students receive their scores? Are they told how they did?
Oh yes, absolutely.
And are they told how they did in each section?
I'm not certain. I think that the test itself, in terms of what questions you got right or wrong, it's more about how you performed against other students. So once they get their scaled score, it's they decide what's.
I read somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it struck me. It said that a student who did exceptionally well in one part, like the 99th percentile,
Yes.
and not so well in the other, would have a better chance of getting in than a student who did like in the 90th percentile in both.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So I've heard similar reports.
I read that because I've been doing so much reading for this.
No, absolutely. So there have definitely been reports of different studies. These are validity studies that is responsibility of the test maker, in this case Pearson.
Right.
And for us, it's really the getting students prepared,
Right.
helping them
Understood.
do the best they can. But it's all about competition, right? It's all about how you do compared to other students.
So let's take a look at
Sure.
some of the questions on the SHSAT, because I
Sure.
was so interested in seeing them, okay?
This is my favorite part.
This is your favorite part. Okay, well, they're going to be up here in just a minute. Okay, so this is from the English Language Arts section,
Correct.
okay?
Correct.
And we're looking at a paragraph. I don't know if our audience has time to read the whole paragraph, but
Sure.
maybe you want to read it out loud a little bit.
Sure, let me give you some context. So
Sure.
up until 2017, for over 2 decades, there were pretty much no changes to the test.
Okay.
And then in 2017, there were 2 sections on the reading section, as it was previously called before it was renamed the ELA to better match what's
Common
happening
Core,
in the
right,
class, correct? And they had 2 types of questions. They were scrambled paragraphs, which, as you can imagine,
Oh, I love
sound
those.
very.
I like those.
They're gone now. They're gone.
Oh,
now.
they're gone now.
Yeah, yeah. And they had logical reasoning. They had a section of questions where students had to think through arguments, and so
those are gone.
Those are gone now. They replaced them with questions like this, revising and editing. This is only in 2018. This is about 10 out of the 57 questions that they'll get in the ELA section. And so this is one of the types of ways that they test your revising and editing skills. This is here's a paragraph. Have students identify which sentence has an error.
So I don't know if our audience has already figured out the answer. It says which sentence contains an error in its construction and should be revised.
Yeah.
The answer is obviously sentence number 2. By the way, nothing's too obvious for me when we got to the math section.
That's one
But
word I
here,
never use in class.
No, I'm joking. So, highlighting legendary feats and memorable activities, not good. Okay, so that's one where you need to do editing and show that you can write well.
Correct.
Okay.
It's and it can be challenging for students in the
Yes.
time constraints they have. So what we tell students is, look, you can trust your ear. It's definitely a big part of how you're going to approach this. But there are patterns. There are things you'll pick up on common errors. So in sentence 2, just real quickly, it's the modifier, right? Anytime you see a descriptive phrase at the beginning of a sentence, is that actually describing the word that comes next? Those are the rules that students have to be familiar with. Anyway, we can
You're
move
also
on. But
saying trust your ear, and that, of course, is true for not so true for a second language learner
Exactly.
or a multilingual language
It
person.
can't be
because
your only
You
tool.
can't trust, I can trust my ear,
Sure.
but, if English is not my native language, my ear may not
Absolutely.
be so reliable.
We stress it can't be your only tool.
Right.
It can be one of the things you
Okay,
use.
but I can see the disadvantages of obvious. Okay, let's take a look at the next one.
Sure.
Oh, sweat lodges. I was like, okay, so.
They're great for you, but
Yes, they're great for you. Also, so here are some questions. We've highlighted just the sentences that the questions
Yes.
are going to be based on.
Yes.
The most wide used of these natural therapies is
Yep.
believed to be the Native American sweat lodge.
Yep.
Every culture has adopted this practice in some form, including the Finnish sauna and the Jewish schwitz.
Yeah.
I say that correctly. All right, so
I won't try.
let's go to the questions for this. Which edit is needed to correct sentence 2? So,
and we can jump back. If,
yeah, okay. Well, sentence number 2 was one that said the most wide use of these natural therapies is believed to be the Native American sweat lodge. So,
Correct.
of course, seems to me that widely is what we
Correct.
need to fix
That's
up
absolutely
there.
correct.
There
Right,
you go,
right,
Linda.
right,
All
right.
right. So, and now the transition for sentence number 3. And this is tough, I would imagine, that
Sure.
figuring what the
it's
transition
a
would be.
different kind of challenge for students.
So the most widely used is the sweat lodge, and then it said every culture has adopted this practice in some form.
Yep.
And so the transition here is nearly?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you also gave me the answer key, so I'm particularly brilliant today.
Right, right,
But all right, okay. So there we go. All right. So again, so students here have to know some grammar.
Yeah.
They have to have a feel for narrative, is what
Sure.
I'm feeling, to do a transition.
Yeah.
You really have to have a feel for narrative flow and what the transition means and
Yeah.
how it relates to the sentence that came previously.
Yeah, it's a kind of, I love the kind of the balance between these two types of questions. And to talk to your earlier point about students who might not have the same comfort level, that's absolutely true. There's students who come to us who haven't used English as, widely as maybe, as the word suggests, with as other students. But this is a chance for them to understand what's expected, what the rules are, and how they can systematically approach this type of question to be absolutely comfortable on test day. So
Okay.
again, that's the best part of working with these students. I'm able to help them.
Great.
I don't need to move on.
No,
but
so what I'm saying.
yeah.
So we're also thinking more and more. There are obvious benefits to having some test prep. So
Sure,
all right,
yeah,
okay. Let's take a look at the next one.
Yeah.
The next one is one of the stanzas of a
yeah.
poem. We did not put the whole poem up there.
Yeah.
It's a poem, and I was surprised to see a poem. I will say quickly that
Yeah.
when I interviewed some of my Bronx Science alum at our reunion, many of them spoke to the great liberal arts education they also got at Bronx Science. And I know there were some comments about poetry on a test like this, science-oriented in STEM, but the truth is that these schools also provide a very strong liberal arts foundation for students. And so I see relevance to having a stanza of poetry
Yeah.
on a test like this. Okay, so we look at this stanza, and then the questions are,
Yeah.
looking at lines 4 through 6, and they are repeated here, how do these lines contribute to the development of ideas in the poem? It's a very florid, older style discourse poem that
Correct.
caught my attention. So how did students do on this?
So I want to connect this, you asked briefly earlier how this compares to the SAT.
Yeah.
This is definitely where it diverges from the
Okay,
SAT.
how so?
The bulk, as I told you, of the ELA is reading comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the passages you'll get. You will not get a poetry passage on the SAT, at least as of today. And so when students encounter this, as you said, it's not the style that they may be used to. And so it adds an extra element of having to be able to draw out from it the intent of the author or the intent of the poet in this case. And so here, you may see students who approach it in a very straightforward manner and gravitate towards answer choice E because they see all the flower metaphors and they're like, oh, this is what this, kind of trying to connect the dots in that way. And they be incorrect, right? That is not the intent of these lines in poetry. And so it adds, again, another extra challenge for students to get used to and get comfortable with.
The answers themselves are written in a style of discourse that is not that straightforward either.
Correct.
They show how the nighttime leaves evidence of its passing.
Sure.
That is a construction that is not a simple construction of a sentence as well. So I
Sure.
can even see how the answers are difficult.
Sure.
Just to even understand them. So, I can see some of the tricks that are here, what some of the issues might be. So again, this is an addition. Is this on the ELA, on the state exam? Is there poetry?
That I'm not certain
Okay.
of.
All right, so let's go to the math quickly. So, certain mixture of paint contains 5 parts white for every 4 parts blue. If a can is 75 ounces of white, how many ounces of blue are in the can? What grade level is this for math?
It depends on which program or what school. It can differ from student to student. I've had students who come to me and they swear they've never covered ratios, and even though it's been part of the curriculum or part of Common Core standards. So we take each individual student's experience and try to apply it to this test in the best way that we can. It can be a challenging question. You have to take a word problem and translate it into a a step-by-step approach to get to your answer.
And is this taught, this is a school-based problem, the kind of thing students get in school?
It is, I've seen students come to me very familiar with how to approach this type of question. But what students need to know is that there isn't just one way to solve any math question. So I like to tell students, yes, there's math in front of you, but a big part of this test is decision making. It's understanding, yes, you have information in front of you, but your scratch work isn't being tested. It isn't being graded. It's in this case, this is a gridding. So they actually added 5 of these gridding questions into, so out of the 57, 5 are going to be gridded. So there is no multiple choice, but because the vast majority is multiple choice, there are a lot, and we'll get to that, there are a lot of different strategies you can use.
Great, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
The next one is a multiple choice question. Is this a hard one for students too?
Yeah, there's no calculator on the SHSAT.
No calculator.
No calculator, right? So so sometimes students are like, whoa, how am I supposed to do this kind of math in the time they have? This is you want the greatest positive integer. And so if I do 4 to the third, you'll have what? 4 squared is 16, 16 to the times 4 is 64. As soon as you throw another, if you get to b, 4 to the 4th power is 256, which is no longer less than 250. And so immediately you can kind of work down the list to try to, and if they're asking for the greatest, students want to start with the smallest number so they can eliminate until they safely get to a number where they know it doesn't work in the given constraint.
So the answer is?
A is the answer. You were absolutely correct.
Okay, all right, All right, let's go to the next one. A price went up 30% one year, and this new price went up 40%. What is combined increase? I know how students would get this one wrong for sure.
Yeah,
So what would the answer be here? The mistake would be they would add them up and say 70. That would be wrong.
Correct.
Okay, so the answer here would be D.
Correct.
82%.
Correct, because you'd add 30% and then you do another 40%
I'm going to run a little over, but that's okay. The next one is questions I hate the most. I think they're the most difficult for students is 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So they have to figure this out. And then what's their strategy?
Yeah, so here it's another good example of where strategy can come into play. So if students can deal with the Roman numeral that comes up the most often, and also recognize that they don't have to solve every single statement. A lot of times through elimination, they can get to their answer much more quickly. It is an opportunity for students to let their critical thinking shine, even in a test like this.
So thank you so much. We're running out of some time, but I do want to ask you very quickly. The research that I did showed that the ELA reading passages are really on a lower level than the reading level passages here, that the ELA sort of tops out at early 10th grade, but this test can go through 12th grade. Is that not true, or the reading here is not more difficult than it could be on the ELA?
I don't know if I'm the right person to
comment
comment
on that. Okay, you don't know. All right. I thought I read that, but let's talk about girls quickly.
Sure.
Girls do not do as well on this test as boys. Any thoughts on that?
I would say in my experience working with over thousands of students, there's been an opportunity to help all kinds of students do better on this test. So I'm not privy to any kind of, again, validity studies.
So do you see any bias in the questions or anything that would?
In my experience as a teacher and working with these students, all I know is that if students prepare, gain experience, they can do better on this test. And that's the great part of it. And
now, I think some people feel girls don't do as well on multiple choice, that may be an issue for them. But you don't see any bias in the test itself?
I don't have the information to be able to comment on that.
All right. In terms of the changes in the test over the decades, I took the tests myself a long time ago, before the test prep era. I've been told that the test has changed very much over the time. Just tell us quickly, how has this test changed?
Yeah, so again, some of the quick changes were up until 2017, it had not changed for 2 decades. And what they did was they added 7 more questions to each section. They turned the scrambled paragraphs and the logical reasoning to the revising and editing. And then with the math, they added the grid-ins to add an element.
Has it changed very much from the 60s and 70s? I mean, when it was first, given to students, has it? You wouldn't know, but I mean, has it undergone a lot of change?
I'm not as familiar. What I know is that the content being tested, it gives the students an opportunity to perform on a level that all students need to perform at to be able to gain acceptance. And so, again, the best part is just helping students be able to translate the skills they already have into better performance on this test.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us this much more in-depth look at this exam. I really don't believe that people really know what this test looks like. I'm sure you are a fantastic tutor. I can be absolutely certain of that. So thank you so much for joining us today on EdCast. Dennis Yim from Kaplan. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Don't go away, we'll be back with our Ed Bites. Welcome back to this edition of Ed Bites. Education Dive recently reported on the tech habits of different generations. Their findings? Generation X, or those born in the mid-1960s to early 1980s, prefer laptops for viewing online content. Millennials, or Gen Y, use their smartphones over 150 times a day. And as you may have guessed, younger users, Gen Z, born in the mid-1990s to the present, are comfortable juggling 5 screens, including smartphones, TV, laptops, desktops, and iPads. Education Week reports on ongoing studies that confirm that having just one Black teacher in elementary school can increase a Black student's likelihood of enrolling in college. The high school dropout rate is also reduced by 29% for Black students who have one Black teacher in grades 3 through 5. Possible explanations for these effects are that Black teachers have higher expectations and serve as role models for these students. Many parents know that children often resist moving to a new home. Going to a new school and making new friends can seem daunting. Now Dive reports that children's fears are not unfounded. In addition to social and emotional concerns, moving has academic repercussions as well. The longer distance the move, the lower student achievement. Students in grades 3 through 8 who move at least a mile away experience a greater and longer-lasting decline in math and English language arts performance than those who move a shorter distance, especially if that move involves changing schools. To the concern of many, kindergarten has become increasingly academic, with less time for play and the arts. Some refer to it as the new first grade. But studies out of the University of Chicago and Vanderbilt University indicate that students in kindergarten classes with more academic content not only show higher math and reading ability, but do no worse or even better on social emotional metrics like self-control, focus, and behavior. Though skepticism persists, overall, the findings indicate that it may be possible to teach advanced academic content to the very young without sacrificing the development of social emotional skills. That's it for this edition of EdCast. Join us next time as we continue to look at admissions into New York specialized high schools.
We'd like to hear from you. Please send your thoughts and comments to cunyedcast@gmail.com.
I took the test for science because I was told it was a morning test and I wouldn't have to go back to school in the afternoon. It was an afternoon off, which sounded great to me.
Did your parents want you to go here?
They didn't even know anything about the school.
Really?
Yeah.